Alright, hello everybody. Right, well, we're in day one of lockdown, so what better time to start a garden-based project. So I'm going to be building a new walk-in aviary for our second rabbit shed. So this is our original one. And then if we go here, here's the wood that arrived a couple of days ago. So we're using 2 inch by 2 inch pressure treated wood here. So great for outdoors, will cope with the weather, especially when it's been painted as well. So that's going to be used for the panels, and then we've also got just some 2 inch by 1 inch rough sawn timber that we'll also treat, and that'll be used to make the door. So that is gonna go over here on our second rabbit shed. So the run's going to be 5 foot wide by 3 foot deep, and it's going on a 5 foot by 5 foot shed. So as a caveat to that, that is not the standard size that you want for your rabbits. So if you've got rabbits, they should be in a bonded, neutered male-female pair, and they need to have 60 square feet of space. So that's like we've got over here. So here we've got a 6 foot by 6 foot shed, and then the run on top of that, which is 6 foot by 4 foot, taking it to 6 foot by 10 foot. So that's 60 square feet for our 2 resident rabbits. So this one's a bit smaller, but it's the space we've got to use, and the rabbits that are going to be staying in here are only here temporarily while we're looking for a new home for them. So for the time being, for temporary accommodation, it'll be adequate, and it'll just give them that extra outdoor space that currently this shed's lacking. So over the next few sessions, as I put this video together, I'll record what I'm doing, and I'll put it online to let you know how it's all progressing. So hope everyone's okay and staying safe, and stay tuned for more updates. Bye. Okay, it's day 2 of our project, building the walk-in rabbit run. So I'm just going to show you all the items I've got. I'll talk you through the sizes, but of course you'll have to adjust your sizes to fit your shed if you choose to build your own run. So first of all, we've got one small panel, so that's we've got 3 planks of 2 inch by 2 inch pressure treated timber, and then 2 longer pieces which are 180 centimeters. So we got 3 61 centimeter pieces and 2 81 centimeter pieces, and then we've got the same but slightly bigger. So we've got 3 foot panels here, so 180 centimeters long and then 92 centimeters wide with these struts. Next, we've got the pieces of wood to make the door. So this door is going to sit inside one of the larger panels, and to do that we're just using 2 inch by 1 inch rough sawn timber. 2 extra 5 foot length pieces, 180 centimeters. They're going to be for just giving structure to the roof. And here's your tools you're going to need. So a drill, if not ideally 2 drills, one with a drill bit and one with a screwdriver bit. A load of wood screws that are going to be long enough to go all the way through the wood, and get a saw as well in case you need to adjust the lengths or anything. And here's one panel that I've made up. So this is going to be the door panel. So for all the other panels, we're going to have a central strut just down the middle for rigidity. On this one, it's going to be lower down, so there'll just be a little step over piece here, and then the door is going to sit in the gap above that. And I'll just show you where I've screwed it in. So it's best to try to do a pilot hole, so just do a little hole first with your drill and then put the screw through. It stops the wood from splitting. Okay, so I'm going to carry on doing this and I will get back to you later on. And here are our painted panels. So here's our door panel here. I think I'm actually put it in the other way around. So basically you've got a step at the bottom, so that's just enough to kind of slow the rabbits down so they don't make a dart for it when we open the door. And then I've sat a door inside one of the 3-foot panels, so there'll be hinges, not quite decided, either this side or this side, probably this side here, like that. And then we've got the 3 panels, the 2 larger ones, the 2 3-foot panels, and the 1 2-foot panel, and also 2 extra pieces of wood there that we will use to create a sort of give some strength to the roof to help hold it all together. And let's have a look at what tools we're going to need. So I'm going to be using bolts. You can use a few different options really. I've decided to use these bolts, which are just about going to be the right size. So a hex bolt with a screw end and washers and a nut there. And for where they're not, so this is big enough to pass through 2 pieces of wood like that. Where we're not going to need so much length, then we've got a smaller bolt. These are my preferred type actually, the ones with the thread going all the way up, and also the screw heads of end there, which makes life much easier. I made a mistake of buying this type, so these are both called mushroom head. These are ideal. I'm not using them this time. I don't have them. I'm gonna have to use the hex bolt. But these are a problem because there's no way of nothing. You haven't got any purchase on this end to kind of hold things still, and also it's got this kind of built-in nut almost here, which is all right, but it's a bit of a pain for getting it flush to the wood, because obviously it then makes a dent in the wood and might cause a bit of weakness there. Also you can use coach screws. These are pretty good. I've used them in the last run. Just remember that if you get them, you'll need a hex bit to be able to screw them in. Alternatively, you can use these, so they just run in between 2 pieces of wood, and then you can screw them in, but they're not very strong. I'd use them as well as bolts, which is probably what I'm going to do, not instead of bolts, because that puts a lot of pressure sort of on one edge of the wood rather than straight through the middle. So I don't like them by themselves. And hinges for the doors. I thought we bought a little thing for holding the door closed, but I can't find it. Never mind. A drill and drill bits, a hammer, these big staples for the mesh. Don't use normal staples, get these big boys here. A small bolt cropper or some strong kind of wire cutters. This is really good. This is like a handheld bolt cropper, goes through things nice and easily. spanners holding the bolts in place, and then your mesh. This isn't the normal mesh you're going to be able to buy in most garden centres or hardware stores. We had to buy this online. The important bit here is the gauge 16G. So this is really rather thick mesh, and this is how strong you're going to want it to be if you want it to be fox proof. Anything under than that, I wouldn't risk it really. You know, you can buy runs with chicken wire, and it's just too much of a risk. We don't want to risk it. So go heavy duty with this sort of stuff. Buy it online. It's not too expensive, and this here is more than enough for us to make this run. So we'll have some left over as well. Okay, I think that's it. So we're going to do a bit of a dry run, put everything together without meshing first, make sure everything fits, and then go back and put the mesh on, and then put it up. So I will get back to you when we've done that step. Right, here's our dry run complete. So by that I'm just kind of put everything together, bolted in loosely what I can, but I haven't put any gridding on. The reason being is because you're going to want to put the holes in before you put the gridding on, otherwise it's much more difficult once the gridding is on to be able to get the bolts in place. It also allows you to make mistakes. So as you can see, I initially had this one, so this panel was attached here like this through this bolt, but obviously what that did was make the whole thing 4 inches longer than I had initially planned, rather than a bit wider, and that meant that it ended up going over the window, and I couldn't bolt it in properly because the window was in the way. So I've had to redo that, but it's much easier to fix things when there's no gridding covering everything, making life awkward. I've just kind of holding the door in place with clamps, which I strongly recommend. And a thing I've noticed is I'm not going to put a bolt in here, because if you put a bolt in, then it'll be in the way of the door. So here is a point where I'm going to use these pieces of metal just along here to hold the door panel. So I'm going to take it all apart again and put the gridding on and put it all together, and then put the 2 roof struts on, which I haven't quite decided, but I think I'm just going to go lengthways across here just to give it a bit more rigidity when the wind starts blowing. And here is the final article. With all the gridding on. Put plants around it. We've got a runaround tube, so that comes out here, there's a door there, and the tube goes all the way along and joins into our extra run there. So there we go. What we're going to do is have an extra hole just in here behind this, and then there'll be like a cat flap there, so we can have the door closed and then the rabbit can still come and go as they please. Right now we're having to have the door slightly propped open. The door's fully open now because it's a nice sunny day. You can see the roof there. So fully predator proof with that thick gridding that I told you about. Step at the bottom, stop rabbits jumping out. and then insides. And we've already got a resident. Here is Finley. Finn, say hello. No, must eat more hay. That's great. There we go, there's the finished article. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. As I said earlier, it's not actually 60 square feet, so it's a bit smaller than the recommended size, the recommended minimum size, but this is temporary accommodation, so Finley is just a temporary resident who's we're currently looking for a home for. So as temporary accommodation, this is acceptable. Alright, so any questions on how this was built, please feel free to ask. Thanks very much.